Hey, you're listening to Smoke Meat. I'm your host, Brad Pittman. Smoke Meat's brought to you by Joe's Underground at the corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia, in the bottom of the Lamar Building. Such a great place to go, make you feel like family the first time, and every time you go in, remember I goes to Joe's and so should you. Joe's Underground in the corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia, in the bottom of the Lamar Building. Our other sponsor is the 4 Points Trading Company. Scented candles that are also great. You need to go to their website, 4pointstradingco.com, and check them out. Use the promo code SMOKEDMEAT for 10% off. It's 4 Points Trading Company. My guest today is Mr. Andy Kay, private investigator. I had a great time talking to him today, and I learned a little bit about the investigation gig. We talked about some hot food and all kind of good stuff, so let's get it kicked off here on Smoke Meat. Hey, so how the hell are you today, Andy?
I am good. How about you?
Any better, I'd be twins.
That's a good one. I like it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, how is it out there in beautiful California today?
It is. It is a great day. It's been a little hot, but today's not as bad as it has been.
Oh, man. I'm loving it here in Georgia here lately. We haven't had the hottest summer on record in 90 years this year. It's been a great summer. Beautiful sunny sky outside. I'm loving it, and I'm down here in my basement. So,
You still getting any effects from that storm out there?
no, not right now. We're not. I mean, once in a while we have a little bit of rain and stuff from it, but I mean, nothing major.
Nothing major. Yeah, good. Good. Keep
Yeah,
dry.
yeah. Oh, I was on the ambulance the nights when everything came through, so I had enough of it.
Yeah, that had to be exciting for you.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm like a cat. I hate getting wet. I despise
uh, most big cats actually like to get wet, so you don't have that excuse. You're a big guy.
it. Oh yeah, oh yeah. 5'10" and 300 pounds, just a little fella. Oh yeah.
You're a big cat.
There you go. Oh man. But yeah, for my guests that don't know, you are a private investigator,
I am.
and that is awesome. That is awesome because I mean, not everybody can do that at all.
Well, and the ones that do it, there's not that many of us that do it well, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everybody watches, Simon and Simon and all those shows today and thinks, oh, anybody can do that. No, there's a shit ton of rules.
Yeah, there's a lot of rules, that's for sure.
Yeah,
And it works both sides though. Some rules are easier for us than it is for law enforcement, and then on the other side, sometimes it's harder. So
yeah,
yeah, there's a lot of rules.
yeah. So life is not Magnum PI.
No, it is not. No, that guy would have never made a dime for sure.
It damn well should be, man. I've got a Magnum PI shirt. So, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's really funny. I actually don't live far away from where Tom Selleck's house is, so
Oh
you
sweet.
know, yeah. So it's good. Looking forward to running into him here one day and
Oh yeah.
talking.
Oh yeah. Avocados, baby. Avocados.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. He was doing the avocado thing. Then we had that drought and that messed up everybody's water up there. Because those old ranches up there are all on wells. So
Mm-hmm.
y- you know the rest of the story.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So what got you into doing the private investigations? What got you kicked up on that?
After college or during college, I kind of was getting recruited by a bunch of different agencies, and I went to work for one, and then its politics was a little bit against my politics. So when my supervisor there retired, he went to another private company, and he talked to his boss about me, and they offered me a job. So I went there, and then my boss there was an ex-FBI agent, and he and I got along very, very well. I learned a lot from him, and he started a private investigations company, wanted me to come work with him. And then we worked together for a while, and he was already on his second retirement, and I kept going forward with the investigations, and now he's a senator.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, he's still good for advice, and I learned a lot from him. So that's what got me into this business.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. And it's funny. I joke about the TV shows and everything and all that aspect of it, but and there's a lot to it. It's more than people think. I've never been an investigator, but I've helped a couple of people out with some things, and
Uh-huh.
It's kind of like EMS. For every 10 minutes of your hair on fire, it's 6 weeks of tedious, boring. Uh,
Yeah, for the individual investigators, yeah, there's a lot of time where you're watching absolutely nothing going on. So yeah, there's a lot of boredom. It's like, like you guys were sitting in a firehouse. I mean, I was a volunteer fireman as a kid. I grew up in a rural area. So, you sit around the firehouse and sit and sit and sit, and then all of a sudden everybody hurry, go.
mm,
You
yeah,
might not have anything happen for weeks, and then everybody run.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And I hate to ask all the cliche questions because every show you're on they do that, and I hate doing it, but everybody has to. It's kind of that thing,
Yeah,
So I'll
exactly.
ask the biggest cliche of all because I know you can't get specific because duh. But what is the weirdest thing that you have ever just caught that you weren't expecting to see? If you can
Oh,
tell me.
yeah. Let me think. There's so many. I might have to like grab some of the guys that work in the office or girls that work in the office, since I seem to have more girls working for me now than men.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Probably I got to go back a ways. I think the strangest case was we had a case where the the cemetery and the funeral home were part of the same organization, and they ended up taking and cremating the wrong body.
Ooh.
And then to cover it up, they put the other one in the coffin and buried it. And then it got out somehow, and then one of the attorneys called me, and so we had to exhume the body, take it in, and identify it, and prove that yeah, they did put the wrong body in the wrong place. And you know, the one man that was supposed to be cremated or be buried was Jewish, and obviously that didn't happen correctly. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of eternal ramifications to that case. So that was probably one of my stranger cases. But I've had so many cases going through. I mean, there was a time where another case where a guy, because I spent some time with rescuing big animals, including big cats and some bears and other things. And I had an attorney call me because he had a judgment against a guy, and the only things he listed as assets were a Siberian tiger, a black leopard, and a Bitzerand. And so he wanted somebody that could go pick him up. And this happened, oh gosh, 20 some years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I had my guys show up with a couple of horse trailers and animal control, and we went to pick him up. And suddenly somebody appeared with a check written out to the attorney, and we didn't have to take the kid. So that made me happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's a little bit tougher than repoing a car.
Yes, it's tougher than repoing a car. I try to stay away from repoing things.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it's to me, doing investigations is cool because you get to be on the inside of things
Yeah, and it's
and
always different. Every day of my life is different.
yeah,
So I love it. That's my favorite thing to do.
yeah. Now another thing, everybody that's not in California right now is wanting to know: do you get to work with stars?
Yes, we actually do. I've been doing this for coming up on, well, it's 29 years this month. So getting close to 30 years. I've worked for a lot of different celebrities and different, professional athletes, and, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the nature of where I've worked and for how long I've been doing it, I've got a great reputation. So we do a lot of work for a lot of those people.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I like to say everybody always wants to know that, and you know,
Yeah, sometimes they make it very easy. I mean, they're like everybody else. Some have problems that are self-induced, and some are just victims of other people's problems, and you just have to treat them all just like you do everybody else that calls you.
yeah, yeah, because that's one thing I've dealt with a lot of famous people, over doing this, and my career in radio, and just I've never missed an opportunity to do anything, and it's paid off a
You're
lot
right.
of times.
Yeah,
And one thing I have learned is like, yes, they can sing, yes, they can play the guitar, yes, they can act or do this or that, but at the end of the day, they're people, just like me
that's
and you.
exactly That is exactly right. And
No.
that's the first thing you got to remember about everybody. And you got to try to, in our business, we're not law enforcement. We don't go out there with an agenda that's black and white.
Yeah.
We go in and we have to think about what their goals are and what their emotional goals are. And sometimes people think their goals are one thing, and you kind of have to, coach them along a little bit. It's like, now, is that really what's important?
Yeah.
Is that what's going to make you happy at the end of this case?
Yeah.
And quite often, you talk them down a little bit, it's not at all what they want.
Yeah.
So you have to work with everybody's personality. And just like you said, it doesn't matter how much money they have. Emotions are emotions. They're still people. And by the time somebody calls me, there's usually some emotion involved.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one thing, working with somebody who's being emotional and not thinking rationally can be a nightmare. I do that all the time. People where I may have seen a broken leg 500 times this week. I'm going out to somebody's house and it's their family. It may be their first time ever seeing anything like this, and it's their family member or them.
Right.
And
Exactly.
it's hard to forget, or to remember that, okay, this is their first time with this. This is normal to you, but it's not to them.
Exactly. And, I'm constantly taking, especially some of my guys that do come out of different forms of law enforcement. And I've got them from ex-FBI to ex-ATF, local sheriff's departments, you name it. And a lot of them come from no law enforcement background. But I have to make them all try to relate to why that person feels the way or thinks the way they do.
Yeah.
So look at their backstory a little bit before you start deciding how you want to deal with them individually. And I mean, that's a life lesson really for everybody all the time. It's like, why does that person feel that way? Does it help you understand why they're there? And it will also help you get them around to what you need them to do, or what you need questions answered from them. Get them to help you with what you need to do a good job.
Yeah. Yeah, because once again I run into it a lot. When one of my questions for you is, when you meet somebody for the first time, everybody judges people at first. I mean, that's human nature. And have you ever had somebody that you thought, this person is such a douche? They probably deserve to whatever they're doing, but I'm going to take this case, and by the time it's over, you think, okay, they got a raw deal or whatever. It's kind of tough to start out feeling like that and jump on it and go.
I'll tell you, one of the cases I got so much notoriety from was a guy that just was so abrasive on so many levels that he ended up being not such a bad guy, and he was absolutely correct in everything, and he was getting railroaded, and it was happening, from the California AG's office at the time, and they were, trying to hammer him with a crime that he absolutely not only didn't commit, there's no possible way he could have. And then we ended up finding out who actually did do it and got to the bottom of it. And, even that guy wasn't even at the criminal level, but, the guy was so abrasive that not many people liked him in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Now, everybody that worked within my office, feels for him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that happens a lot. And then we get people that call up and you think, out of the gate that they're crazy.
Yeah.
And, some of them are, don't get me wrong, but you have to look at them individually, because you'll hear the craziest things happen. And then there's some substantial things that are happening in their life that make them act that way. And once certain things start happening, they become a little paranoid, and then more things happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not sure what will happen there.
Like I always tell my partner, just because you're paranoid don't mean they're not after you.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. I got a friend that used to say that when we were growing up as kids.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the truth, man. And I think that today is just so weird. It's not the days I grew up in. I make it sound like I'm ancient. I'm only I'll be 40. Oh, will I be? That's so sad. I'll be 49 this year.
Yeah.
And I remember just growing up as a kid in the 70s, and a teenager in the 80s, and things were so different. I don't know if I was sheltered or what, but now it's my kids can look out the window of a car somewhere and identify a meth head.
Well, yeah.
I didn't know what meth was when I was a kid.
Yeah, it didn't exist when you were a kid, especially to the degree it does now.
Yeah.
I started out in drug enforcement, and meth was just coming on pretty strong when I was there. I mean, drug of choice was cocaine back then, and it's it's a different world as far as that goes. But I'll tell you what, there's nobody that grew up with the way the world is today. I mean, unless they're still growing up.
Yeah.
It's a major extreme, turmoil right now on so many levels that,
Yeah.
I think it's not as much out there numbers wise as everybody thinks it is, but just what you see and what you're exposed to every day is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, my meth is. I've always told people, one, I don't do drugs because I'm too much of a control freak.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of things, especially meth. The first time you try it, you're hooked. Boom. I mean, there's no getting away from it. But I wish that there was some kind of clinical setting where you could try it one time with no addiction, no ramification. Somebody there watching you just to keep everything safe, nothing bad from happening, just to see what this pull is. Because
Yeah.
I've seen
Well,
it just take people and just wring them out.
yeah. And it's different with everybody. I
Yeah.
mean, there's certain people that can handle certain things.
Yeah.
I mean, alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, you name it, LSD.
Yeah.
There's certain people you'd never know are doing it,
Yeah.
and there's certain people that get it. Then it's they don't come back the right way ever.
Yeah.
So it's different in every situation. I mean, and meth goes all the way back to World War II.
Yeah.
So it's different degrees all the way up into this point. Now, you know, I blame the drug war really for where we are with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we wouldn't have been, if we'd have tried to make things maybe a little different, people wouldn't be taking and making it out of worse and worse chemistry and doing it in their house where you have no control ever.
Yeah. And it's terrifying how easy and cheap it is to make. I mean, when I was
Absolutely.
on fire and doing hazmat and tactical response with PD,
Yeah.
we sat in on a class with DEA, and they actually showed us 5 different ways to make this crap, and it's nothing.
It's nothing. And I mean, I know all the precursors by heart. I mean, I'm not going to give them out to the rest of the world because we'll have, everybody making a mad rush on Walmart.
Yeah.
But it's just, it is way too easy. And, the fact that you tried to control something to the point that you have zero control because they found a way around all of the controllable points
Yeah.
is, that's one of my problems with some of the legislating that goes on.
Yeah.
No foresight.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny. While it's a horrible thing, and somebody getting hooked on it is such a horrible thing, meth heads at the same time can be some of the funniest people in the world.
Well, you get a lot of your good videos on YouTube from it.
Yeah, yeah. Have you dealt with Flocka?
I'm sorry?
Have you dealt with Flocka?
I have not personally ever had to deal with it.
Dude, I hope you never have to. The video that came out several years ago, the person in Florida that basically was trying to eat somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've dealt with Flocka. They weren't trying to eat somebody, but they are just whacked.
A mess.
Holy
Yeah.
crap. It's
We used to
terrifying.
worry. Yeah, we used to worry about phencyclidine when I was out there. PCP guys were a problem, but
Yeah.
there's always something. And I don't know. There's still probably places where that's not fully illegal, is it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know for a long time it wasn't.
Man, that shit is, ooh, man. There's not a lot out there that really scares me really bad. That crap
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, I just don't know what inspires people to even do it at all.
Yeah.
It's just like when you see what can happen, it's like, where do you consciously go and say, hey, I'd like to try that?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm like I said, I'm too much of a control freak. I don't even take pain meds if I'm hurt. Benadryl and to help me go to sleep, and that's it.
I'm with you. And I mean, if I get to the point with my allergies where I have to take a Benadryl, I hate it. I mean,
Yeah.
It's a bad day.
Yeah, because I can take one and I'm out. Period. Doesn't know
Oh, yeah,
me.
me too. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, gotta love it, gotta love it. We're gonna find us a happier topic than drugs now, because that one I can go all day on.
Or at least find happy drugs. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I saw a thing on Facebook the other day. It had a picture of a bunch of Flintstone vitamins with eyes glowing red, and it said all of those vitamins we took as kids acting up now because of the COVID. I'm like, man, I
Yeah,
wish
exactly. Yeah.
I'd be made out of steel right now if that shit was real.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
And
yeah,
you got to give the kids the gummy vitamins or they don't digest correctly enough to get the supplements into their body anyway. So
oh yeah.
all, all those binding units just go right through you.
Hey, but I tell you, man, you get hold of a Dino and that man, you wired for days. Oh yeah.
It seems like my little sister used to pull the Dinos out of the bottle, and she'd hide them all. She wouldn't let anybody else have the Dinos. It was just that way.
Nice, nice. Oh man. Well, yeah. When we were talking, I was telling you about some of the stuff that we just kind of veer off into. So,
Yeah,
so being in California, I know you've probably been in the woods a little bit. Do you
grew up
hike?
in the woods.
Uh,
Yeah, absolutely.
all right.
I grew up. I grew up outside Lake Tahoe, so I was in
Oh,
the woods and in the lake all the time.
okay. Well, now for the big question: Bigfoot, yes or no?
Bigfoot, yes or no? Let's go with maybe. I know a lot of guys have been chasing him around for a long time. Nobody's gotten anything that we can't disprove. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, yeah. This
But
is true.
I don't say that it's not there just because nobody's been able to prove it either.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a believer. I like to think that we haven't found everything because I mean, you
I
look at it, we find stuff all the time.
I like that too. Because like my goal is to discover things. So that's my job. That's why I am in that job. So I always want to believe there's a lot more out there that we don't know about. I'm a big fan of all those kind of things. So I mean, until they are completely debunked, and they're not.
Hmm.
I can't think of many of them they've ever completely debunked. I'm all for them. I hope that we find more and more. And you pay attention, you'll see that we're always discovering some new creature, some new fish, some new little frog, something out there. We're finding animals that we thought were extinct for decades. So there's always that possibility. It's like if we can miss those things, we can miss Bigfoot, who's actually trying to hide, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like I say, I'm a believer. If nothing else, it's fun to believe. Just because you get, when I was growing up, we just had the normal school of thought on Bigfoot. Big ape,
Hmm.
we can't get evidence on him.
Yep.
And now it has branched off so much. It's hilarious now. I hate to mess with what people believe because, it is what it is. But now we've got people who believe that it's an interdimensional being that can communicate with you through thoughts. I have people who believe it comes from UFOs. And it's like, it's sad whenever you're a Bigfoot believer and you think, those people are whack jobs.
Well, everybody expects that anything that's going to be of a higher uh, being to be something that looks either like a lizard or a big head with big eyes, or all these preconceived notions that we get from television and science fiction. And you could have been looking at something like that all along. You don't know. I don't know. I can't say that he didn't park a UFO somewhere and get out of it and then have to run back into it and get out of there when he got seen.
Yeah,
I don't know. you know
yeah, yeah,
so I'm not gonna say he doesn't exist.
yeah.
By the way, if somebody wants to pay us to look, we'll do that too.
Probably the special rate.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. The hell yeah.
I'll send a bunch of us up to Oregon. We'll camp out all summer long.
I can see this headline now. Not only did we find Bigfoot, but we found out he's cheating on his wife.
Yes, exactly. And there's a reason there's no grizzly bears in the area anymore.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I believe in Bigfoot. I believe in ghosts. Do you believe in ghosts?
Do I believe in ghosts? I
Yeah.
don't know. From the traditional meaning of ghosts, probably not so much. Do I think ghosts are out there to scare you, haunt you, and you know make you run away? Nah. I mean, there's a lot of thoughts and a lot of different science that's given theories on it that some of them are plausible, some of them are not.
Yeah.
Have I ever had an experience that I thought was strange? Sure, actually a couple times, especially in my younger years, but nothing that I could, say, oh yeah, that was a ghost.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I used to do the ghost hunting thing quite a bit. And
Yeah.
that is a lot of fun. I've actually got a new recorder. I haven't gone in a long time, but I want to take this new recorder out because in the past, if you're doing EVPs, which is the electronic voice phenomenon,
Right.
you record, and then when you go back to your office later on, you sit and listen to your tape with the headphones on, and you may or may not hear something. Well, with this
Hmm.
recorder, if I have headphones on while I'm recording, it
Uh-huh.
actually everything comes through the headphones real time that comes in the
Right.
recorder. So I want to try this out.
So it's processing it before it gets to your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to check this thing out and see if it works.
Well, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. Tell me how that, you're gonna have to tell me how that works out.
I definitely
I,
will.
I'll tell you what. I bet I get 3 calls a year for somebody saying, "Do you investigate haunted houses, or do you investigate ghosts, or do you investigate, supernatural phenomena?"
Hmm.
And it's like, look, why, let's take a look at it and see if we even think it's actually supernatural, if we can figure out what it is anyway.
Hmm.
And sometimes we figure out what it is anyway. And if we don't, I got to tell you honestly, though, it seems like nothing ever happens when we're there, and the people are like, oh, they must know you're here, and they don't, they don't want you to find them, kind of thing. That's
Hmm.
what usually happens.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Yeah.
we haven't had anything that we weren't able to not see at all because it didn't happen while we were there, or that we were able to explain.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, next time somebody calls with one, if you
I'll call you,
yeah,
and we'll
if you
say,
want to fly a fat boy to L.A.,
we'll subcontract you out.
oh yeah, oh yeah, because you can't see everything that happens when it's happening. A
Yeah,
lot of
that's
my
right.
stuff we found after we got home and checked it out.
Yeah, yeah. Are you guys using thermal videos and all that?
No, I'm too broke to use thermal. I'm a
Yeah.
poor boy.
Hey, those prices are coming down. We got a few units that we use for different things.
Oh man, whenever you go on one of those, always have that with you.
Yeah,
Always.
yeah. We use them a lot, and construction failures and things like that a lot.
Hmm.
Looking for cracks that people didn't find, and bad steel, all those kind of things.
Okay. Very cool. And y'all do a little bit
Yeah.
of everything. But oh yeah, I
Yeah.
guess. But it does make sense. I mean, I would rather pay an investigator this much than have to shell out millions because I didn't find out what the real cause of something was.
Yeah, and well, with construction, I'm pretty lucky because I grew up in that industry. All
Hmm.
my uncles and cousins and all, they're all developers or different kind of contractors. So I've got an engineering license. I've got a general engineering license. I've got a general contracting license, grading, paving. I actually own a few construction companies that I'm the licensee for. So anytime there's any kind of major construction cases, whether it be construction fraud or mismanagement or failure or accidents, I usually get called. I mean, I've been all over the world on that stuff.
Hmm. Well, very cool. Very,
Yeah.
very cool. But yeah, I love, like I say, I love the fact y'all do so much. I was looking on the website, it had services. I thought, okay, I'm going to click this, and I dropped out. It's going to come with infidelity or bank fraud, and thing just went all the way down my screen. I'm like, holy shit, they do it all.
Yeah, we're pretty much full service. We're not, there's a lot of people that stay in one niche. I mean, you got to remember, most of these guys, they came out after retirement from one law enforcement or another, or they were an insurance adjuster for decades. And so they're pretty specialized in their thinking. I
Mm-hmm.
started this out pretty young, and where, I mean, I can come at it from a law enforcement point of view. I can come at it from a lot of other point of views also.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got really good people working for me. I've got specialists in just about every field there is. I usually stay on top of every case unless it's just like a quick search or surveillance maybe, but I usually run all my cases. Um, and so we have the ability to do just about any kind of investigation there is.
Very cool. Very, very, very cool. And, okay, the name of the show is Smoked Meat. And,
Yes, sir.
I love
Okay.
cooking.
I've got, yeah. I gotta ask. So what do you prefer? What type of barbecue do you prefer?
Oh, man. Most of what I do a lot of times, I'll do Boston butts.
Oh yeah,
And,
I love it.
oh,
Smoke
man,
them, you pull them.
I'll smoke them and pull them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
My go-to rub, I make my own rubs, and one of them I have actually has about 30 different ingredients, and it's really
Really?
good. But my go-to two ingredients is
What
chili
is it?
powder and Country Time lemonade mix, equal parts.
Really?
Yeah, the sugar in that Country Time caramelizes,
Yeah.
so you get that flavor. You get the tart from the lemonade and a little bit of spice from the chili powder. It's a wonderful thing.
That sounds great.
Oh yeah,
I'll have to try that out. That's easy enough.
yeah, that one's simple.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. I'm from near Augusta, and we live up here near Atlanta now. But I've got a 25-pound brisket waiting on me down there at my house there, and I've just got to be able to go down and get it. But I'm aching to fix this thing.
Well, you get out to LA, most weekends we will be barbecuing something. So
Oh,
you
outstanding.
have to hit us up.
Definitely, definitely. Because I love cooking. I can go anywhere from ramen noodles to a 5-star meal.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, I
And
cook too.
and on the ramen, I even hand stretch my own noodles sometimes. So
Do you?
yeah,
Yeah, I haven't gone there. The ramen noodles thing. If there's going to be ramen noodles, I have to get them from my cousin. She does ramen noodles amazing. So
hmm
that's I don't even try.
yeah.
I just go to her.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I love doing that stuff. You know, the way the show got its name is 5 years ago. I actually had 2 strokes. The first one I didn't know I had. The second one I had while I was on the ambulance working.
Well, that's kind of convenient.
Yeah, a little bit. We were in the parking, or almost in the parking lot of Doctor's Hospital in Augusta, and I started stuttering. And I called my wife, and I said, I don't know what's happening. She said, give me Rocky, who was my partner at the time. And I handed him the phone. He said, oh, we're in the driveway. So we went down the driveway, got in the ER, and I heard the words code stroke. I'm like, great, I'm going to be in here forever because they're going to be dealing with that guy. And all of a sudden, they swarm my room. I'm like, oh, shit, this ain't good.
Yeah, you thought it was the other guy.
Yeah,
That that happens a lot. I hear.
yeah,
Because doctors and everybody else are very good at looking at everybody else, and we all know those symptoms. We all know what's happening, but you don't recognize it at all in yourself. Even consciously looking back, you probably say, "Oh yeah, I should have known that,"
yeah,
but
yeah.
you don't. You don't look at yourself that way.
Yeah, and I got
Yep.
really lucky. It didn't get me physically. It scrambled my eggs really well. But for about 5 months, I couldn't work. So I was basically, wandering around the house, not doing anything. And I've got a good friend who loves to hunt. He's got a lot of land, and he just doesn't like wild game.
Hmm.
So he would either kill a hog or a deer and call me and my other friend and say, come get it. So it wouldn't go to waste. And we would clean it and, process it. And I got tired of doing the same thing with every one, so I started learning to make the different sausages. I do brats, andouille, pepperoni, you name it. I do a venison pastrami that's amazing.
That's awesome.
But it's
That
kind of
that
an
sounds
homage.
great.
Yeah, kind of an homage. I just named it smoked meat.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I like it. I
But
wonder where that came from.
yeah, that's the story of the show. I've been doing stand up for almost 30 years, and I just have fun with that. I've never gotten famous from it, but it's fun. I like making people laugh, and this just seemed kind of like a natural extension to it.
Yeah, that's good. I like it.
But,
So you're gonna have to tell at least one joke then.
okay, let me see. I've been doing dad jokes lately, and my partner actually told me this one.
Okay.
What do you call a hen that counts her eggs?
I don't know. What do you call
A mathemachicken.
it? Nothing.
You didn't say I had to tell a good one. You just said I had to tell one.
No, it made me laugh. It's good.
But yeah, but yeah,
That is
yeah,
definitely a dad joke.
definitely. But yeah, I do different things
Definitely a
on YouTube. I've got a channel. It's Brad's Comedy. It's all one word. And I've got some of my stand up on there. Some of my podcasts are on there. But I started doing characters and
Oh yeah.
filming them down here in the studio. And all of them, except for one, are improv and all one take. The one who I knew who he was going to be, is the clown. His name's Murray. Now,
You
don't
got to do a character.
yeah.
Got to do it.
Oh, I'll do Murray for you. Don't do Murray around, or don't watch Murray around your kids,
Okay.
because this
Do
is
Murray.
Murray. Usually Murray's tired because he worked a bachelorette party the night before. Yeah. At this point, he would be drinking some bourbon straight out of the bottle, And, yeah, okay, you little bastards want to see some magic tricks. Okay, let's do a magic trick. And Murray is just rough, but damn, he is so much fun to do. And around Christmas, I actually did a 30-minute Christmas special with him and some of my other characters.
I think I actually know Murray.
Everybody knows somebody like Murray. And the funny part about him is, I'm actually a certified clown. I got taught at the Georgia Fire Academy.
I've always been scared of clowns. I don't like clowns.
Oh, man. Murray helps perpetuate that, I promise. But yeah, I used to teach fire safety doing that, and he was actually my first clown. And I couldn't use him because his voice cusses so easy. And it would be bad to be in front of a school full of kindergartners and first graders and go, okay, you little bastards, stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop, drop, roll.
But yeah, I'm actually working on getting a sponsor to get my video channel going full speed. And, I'm going to make it where my podcasts are videos also and do things like that, and it's going to be fun. It's just taking me a little time to get a sponsor, but that's okay. I could do it with what I've got, but I don't want to half-ass it. You know what I mean?
I get it. I do. I do.
But yeah, it's going to be fun. Just keep an eye on that.
Keep an eye on Murray.
But yeah, I've got one who's a chef. His name is Chef Rupert. Chef Rupert's all about the food. His partner Chris just loves everything he fixes. And he is so much fun to do. He's got the big, he wears a do-rag and a chef's coat. And he's got a big, huge, almost like a Paul Tuttle mustache. And I've got a guy who's Coach Dan. Remember back in the 80s, every college football coach had their own show on Sunday mornings?
Yes.
Well, this is Coach Dan Graham, of Dan Graham's Power Washing, Landscaping, Vinyl Siding, and Artificial Bait Supply. The thing about him is he don't have a team, he never played football, and don't have any kids that play football, but he's a super fan. And he is an idiot, but he is so much fun.
It sounds fun.
I've got a guy named Wayne, Wayne actually wears my Magnum PI shirt. But he's got red hair, huge red mustache, and he's a 70s guy. And this is Wayne's voice, baby. Wayne's all about the love. You want to know what Wayne's last name is?
Sure.
All you need to know is Wayne, baby. That's all you need to know. And the characters have kind of snowballed because I also eat hot stuff. I've eaten the Reaper and I've eaten the Pepper X. And when the pandemic started, just as kind of a joke, I made an Amazon list of all the hot challenges. Mm-hmm. And I posted it and said, anybody that sends me something from this list, I will do a character. You get to pick the character and what they're doing while I do this challenge. Yeah, that shit backfired on me because people are ordering from the list. The last one, a guy sent me the white chocolate challenge, which is a piece of white chocolate, which is awesome, but it's infused with 12 of the hottest peppers in the world, which is not so awesome. That thing was ridiculous. Yeah. But he wanted to hear Murray read the dirty parts of 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah, that was amazing.
With tears in his eyes.
I had never seen this book before. I'm like, okay, how bad can it be? I just Googled dirty parts 50 Shades of Grey, hit click, found something with paragraphs and said, okay, let's film.
What's the show where the guy interviews different celebrities?
The hot ones.
Yeah, that's a funny show. I love that show. I think it's great.
I love it. I tell you, a celebrity I'm actually a little bit scared of now because of that show, Rachel Ray.
Oh, yeah.
She is gangster.
Yeah, she's a badass. No kidding. Dude, I've always liked Rachel Ray.
When everybody else, when they do it, they have their wings in front of them, 10 wings, ready to do it. She didn't have wings. This chick brought a cup with 10 spoons in it and just ate a spoonful of each one while she was doing this. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gangster. I'm afraid of Rachel Ray. I would never want to owe her money. No.
Yeah. God knows what she'd do with those spoons if you owed her.
Oh, man. Yeah, I love Sean Evans. That show is just awesome because he gets such great people. And they give it all. It's just, Bobby Lee actually had a bowel movement on the show. The comedian Bobby Lee. Yeah, he lost it that bad. And I'm like, okay. That's new.
Oh,
But yeah, I love it.
yeah, I think that show's great. I watched so many of them and I just cracked up. I haven't seen it since it went on to network TV,
I,
and I saw it on YouTube when it was just on the YouTube channel.
yeah, yeah. I still watch the YouTube one. I haven't fallen in love with the network one yet.
Yeah, I haven't even seen it yet,
Yeah,
but I like the YouTube part. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's funny. So when you do all these peppers, because I've never been a super spicy fan, honestly,
Hmm.
and we got a hold of a ghost pepper brewer once,
Oh yeah,
and it went away pretty fast, but it was very hot, mostly on the inside of my mouth and my lips, more than it got my tongue.
hmm.
But I mean, so where does the ghost pepper lie in with the Reapers and the other ones that you're talking about?
Well, the Reaper is actually the Guinness Book World Record holder right now. I think it's at 2 million Scoville units,
Is it
and
2 million?
the it was
I'm like Tabasco level,
oh man,
couple Scovilles.
that's about 2,000. So
Yeah, that's me. I'm right there.
yeah, and the guy who developed that one was a guy named Ed Curry out of Rock Hill, South Carolina. He's got a company called Pucker Butt Pepper Company,
Yeah, I bet.
and he's got another one now called Pepper X, which they're getting certified now.
Yeah.
And that I've had some of it, and it is ridiculous. Oh man,
Yeah. So is he hybriding? Doing the peppers,
yeah,
or is okay? So that's how he's getting the actual chemistry together in actually the growing of the pepper.
yeah, yeah. He does that, and different soil types and things like that. He's a whole lot smarter than me. That's why he's got that pepper money and I don't. That's why I send him
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't think I'll ever be needing anything that has 2 million Scoville units. That just doesn't sound like you'd be able to taste anything else for a while. But I will say something about the COVID.
hmm,
My fiance and I both were in New York City when they shut everything down, and
hmm,
we were also in New Orleans right about Mardi Gras.
hmm,
So we flew back to California because they were shutting everything down, and we had some stuff that we were doing there, but we had to cut it off short on another issue. And we got back to California, and shortly thereafter, we both got COVID, and it wasn't that bad really for us, but we're pretty healthy people, and
yeah,
I know it gets some people very badly, so I'm not making light of it.
yeah,
But at one point, after the first 3 or 4 days, it was the only time I had any real symptoms. I was just really, really tired, a little fever here and there. The rest of it wasn't that bad. But then I lost my sense of taste and smell completely.
yeah,
And then I started being able to smell. So I figured, okay, maybe it's just some kind of congestion kind of thing. So I went and got the hottest horseradish I could find anywhere. And, in LA, you can find anything you want.
oh yeah,
And I got garlic cloves and I got some pepper sauces. I couldn't taste any of it.
hmm,
Not it. But my stomach knew it was there.
oh yeah. And the thing about peppers is the chemical in there that capsicum.
Yeah.
It does not. Your digestive system does not break it down at all. It's as strong coming out as it is going in.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah,
know. I know.
yeah,
So, but anyway, the other end worked fine.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah,
But it was weird. Yeah, it does that COVID does take away your ability to taste anything. It's
yeah,
it's incredible. It's really weird.
yeah. Yeah, and you're talking about your symptoms weren't that bad. I've seen that a lot,
Yeah.
and at the same time, I've seen it take healthy 30-year-olds who just
Yeah.
got it one day and boom, they're gone. And
Yeah.
this thing is so weird, and it's what's really going to piss me off. I told you I don't do a lot of controversy, and I don't. What's really going to
Hmm.
piss me off if after the election's over, if all of a sudden we have a vaccine,
Yeah.
that's going to make me hotter than donut grease. I ain't going to lie about it.
Yeah.
And I've got that gut feeling, and I just don't want to have that gut feeling.
Well, I keep really good eyes on what's going on because I'm an evidence guy. I don't care what anybody's saying. I don't care what side they're on. I don't
Yeah,
care what's out on the media or the news because it's all crap. You got to do your own research.
yeah, yeah,
And there's a lot of it that I've researched, and there's a lot of stuff that's very convoluted.
yeah,
But I notice everybody backing down to the evidence now.
yeah,
Everybody's tapering off their rhetoric.
yeah.
And so that tells me that you're probably going to be really pissed off after the election.
Yep, I got that feeling.
Yeah. I mean, now, CDC's, oh, it's not as bad as we thought, yeah, people are dying, but most of those people are already going, they had an underlying condition, and it's a huge number that they're throwing out there.
Yeah,
And, there's all these other things that are happening. And I just see them trying to make it so that they can normalize at that point.
yeah,
And I think you're going to be mad.
yeah.
That's my opinion.
I do too, especially since the first 2 months of this thing,
Hmm.
because I am so high risk being a paramedic.
Yeah, absolutely.
My wife runs
And
a
you got to
nursing
get in
home.
there anyway. Yep.
Yeah, she runs a nursing home. So for my first 2 months of this thing, I stayed in the studio. I've got an air mattress behind me right now where I stayed,
Yeah.
and that sucked.
Yeah. It's a big effect on everybody's lives,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'd go upstairs long enough to get something to eat or whatever, and I'd be right back down here, and I did not dig it. I like my studio, love it. I'm having a ball being down here right now, but I know I can go back up those stairs and normal
Yeah.
life.
Yep. Yeah, I
But
get it. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I think everything isn't as was supposed to be, and we'll see how it shakes out.
yeah, I'm just ready to be able to travel. I've never been a big traveler, but when this is over, I'm coming to California because I've spoke to so many people out there that I want to meet, and I'm going to New York because I've got a lot of people up there that I want to meet.
Absolutely.
So, oh
And
yeah,
New York, New York's, had a lot bigger hit than we have really in California with
yeah,
everything. Every part of from the COVID to the, civil unrest, you name it, they've been hit really hard.
yeah,
And I have a lot of very close friends from New York City. My fiance lived there for 6 years, so we spend a lot of time there, and we do work there. So it's become another very close place for us to be, and it's kind of sad. It's really sad. Overall, they've suffered greatly in New York.
yeah,
So I look forward to normalization there. I've had a lot of my friends already leave that have been there for decades. I never thought they'd leave,
yeah.
and I mean some of them left the country completely.
Hmm.
So I hope it does get back to some form of normalcy. I don't know how quick it'll be. I think it's going to take a little bit.
Yeah.
But California, honestly, the majority of California, there's some little pockets that have some recovery coming that aren't going to return to normal very quick,
Mhm.
but the majority of it's going to come back pretty fast.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm ready for
I
things
mean,
to start filming.
and that depends on what you think of as normal. It is California,
Yeah,
so
it is California. And normal's kind
yeah,
of a stretch.
yeah, that's it. No, pretty much anything falls into normal.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm just looking for this stuff to be done. I want to meet everybody because I'm a people person. As you can tell, we have never spoken before today. And I mean, hell, it's like we're sitting here drinking a beer after, we've known each other for 20 years.
Absolutely. So we're going to have to make that happen when you get out here.
Yeah. I drive my wife insane with that. We were in Walmart one night just to pick up a few things, and we were just walking around, and I saw this old man in the garden center looking at a griddle.
Uh-huh.
And I went over and talked to him, and 45 minutes later, I'm not sure, I think I actually sold him two different models.
But
And
they weren't the aluminum model.
nope,
They weren't made from the cheap Chinese steel.
nope, they were both Blackstones.
There you go.
Yep, I think I sold him the 3 foot one and the 17-inch one because I have both of those and I love them.
That's awesome. That's funny.
Matter of fact, I'm cooking rice on the 17-inch one tonight. They just looked at me and shook their head like, you really just sold that guy griddles. I'm like, well, I didn't want him to make a bad choice.
Yeah, that's right. You don't ever want to see anybody make bad decisions.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I've just always been able to talk to people, and it just freaks them out because they don't.
Yeah. So like when you see some poor guy hitting on your ex at the bar, you walk up, tap on the shoulder. Yeah, you might want to go there.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm telling you right now, here's what she's gonna do. Hope you got
Exactly.
insurance.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, man, I appreciate the hell out of you coming on the show, man. And anytime you
I'm
want on here, all you gotta do is call and say, "Hey, fat boy, let's talk," and I'll hit record.
yeah, I'm glad to be there. So if you same way, you give me a holler and we'll talk.
Very cool, very very cool, man.